And here we go. The invoice is opened up, and you should note the important details being the date, the quantity, and the overall price. Another important feature is the GST amount, which is down the bottom here. Now, we're going to go and open the client's MYOB file, which in this case is our example file. Hit OK. This won't usually pop up, but we'll just go through that. So what we want to do is we're going to go into sales. We want to hit enter sales, and we're going to essentially match the information we see in the invoice into MYOB. So the customer in this case is to someone called Charlie Lee. So we're going to hit customer. We're going to go Charlie Lee, except it isn't dropping down on the drop down menu. So we have to create a customer. So we hit the down arrow. Sorry, just show you that again. We hit the down arrow here, and we go new, and last name is Lee. Hit tab to go across, and first name is Charlie. Essentially, that is all you will need for this stage of the process, and we're just going to hit OK. And now when we type in Charlie, or start off with the last name, Lee, it will automatically fill in the field, and we hit tab, tab, tab until we get to the date. We have a look at the date on the invoice, which is up here, 5th of the 12th of the 12th. So we'll change that to there. Hit tab, tab. At this stage of the process, we want to make sure that this bit up here is checked to invoice, and the layout is to item. And then we're going to hit OK. Then we get all this information in here. Now what we want to do is we're going to go to our invoice and copy that information in. So quantity is 1, description is outdoor camp, and price is 100. So ship, which is in this case the quantity, 1. The item, the description is outdoor camp. So we hit tab, tab, and then we hit tab, and we go and select the respective respective item. It automatically fills in with outdoor camp, and we've already set this up in our previous tutorial. We hit tab, and the price we're going to enter in is 100. Hit tab again, and it will automatically calculate all the amounts here. Now you should note the tax box here has a GST involved of $9.09. If you also note here that the tax code is GST, which is what we're looking for. When we go into our invoice, we match that GST amount, so we note that it's GST of $9.09 here, and we go to the MYOB file, and we notice that the tax amount here is $9.09, so we check that off, and we hit record. And that's essentially how you process an invoice. Now, we do the same for, we did the same for the rest of these. However, every time we finish processing an invoice in MYOB, we have to drag the invoice we just processed into the bookkeeping side of Evernote and put it into the invoices folder. So we just entered Charlie Lee. We pulled down the drop-down menu. We pull down like the drop-down menu for the bookkeeping side of Evernote, and we're just going to drag and drop it into invoices. And you'll see that invoices changes to 1 now. So that's done correctly. Cool. So you go ahead and you'll do the rest of these invoices, but we'll take an invoice, for instance, which doesn't have a preloaded item or account set up. So let's go into this one, for example. Okay, so you'll see here that the description is study equipment. The customer is a girl called Katie Robinson. The date is 7th of the 12th of the 12th. And the total amount is $2,000. The GST amount being at the bottom here is $181.82. When we go into MYOB, we type in Katie, and it doesn't automatically pop up with anything. Try her last name. No, still doesn't pop up with anything. So we need to enter her name as a customer. Hit new. Actually, here's a good way of checking whether she's even in the system or not. When you click the drop-down menu, the only 2 customers in here are obviously Lee and this example person we put in. So we're going to go last name is Robinson. We're going to go first name as Katie. We're going to hit OK. Now when we type in Robinson, it will automatically come up with Robinson Katie. Hit tab, tab, tab. The date has to match the date on the invoice, which in this case here is 7th of the 12th of the 12th. So we'll change this to 7. Tab, tab, tab. We check the layout to be item. Hit OK. This top bit is invoice. The ship amount is 4. The item number should have a description of study equipment. However, you'll notice that there is no study equipment items in here, so we have to go ahead and create those. So the first thing you have to ask yourselves is, what account would study equipment potentially relate to? So we go into our accounts tab, we go to accounts list, and we hit study, actually it would be income, wouldn't it? We go to our income tab, and we have a look for equipment sales. Here we go. Equipment sales has already been set up. If we were to, for instance, want to have a more specific account, let's say they sold, I don't know, barbecue equipment as well, and we want to make a specific account called study equipment. Then we type in the number, we go to new, we type in the number underneath equipment sales, which would be 112 000, sorry, 2 zeros. Hit tab, and we are going to type in study equipment, hit details, and change the tax code to GST, and hit OK. Hit close, and then we're going to go back to our invoice here, and where it says item number again, we're going to hit tab, and it will pop up with the items list. We're going to hit new, and where it says item number, we're going to have to allocate a specific invoice, what they call invoice code, and this typically 3 to 4 letters. You can change it. You can change it to whatever you want. Essentially, it doesn't really make a difference. But we will call it, for study equipment, we will call it STY, for example. And we're going to hit down. And we're going to go study equipment. We're going to hit I sell this item, and the income account is going to be to study equipment, which we have just created here. So we're going to hit use account and go OK. But before we do that, we want to go and make a note of, actually no, that's fine. We'll talk about that later. We're going to hit OK. Oh, cool. So the system has automatically noticed that we haven't allocated a tax code. So what we need to do is we were just at this tab here. We need to hit selling details, and we need to make sure that the tax code up here is GST. Once you have selected GST, you just hit OK. And now when you hit tab on the item number, it will come up with your study equipment tab. So we hit that. The price we copy in from the invoice is $500, and the total is $2,000, but all that is just essentially 4 times 500, so MYOB will automatically do that, as can be seen here. The tax amount is the GST tax amount is $181.82. If we scroll down to the bottom of the invoice, you'll see that that's the exact amount that we have written here. So all good, and we just, from here, hit record.